Hello everyone, welcome to Real Wicked Talk. I'm James Otten, and today I've got for you two very valuable and very powerful tips on how to make your magic work and make sure that your magic is working. Of course, we all learn from the books about raising energy, building your cone of power, directing that energy with intent. But behind that, behind the scenes, what is actually making this all work? That's what we're going to take a look at. And we're going to begin actually with a little bit of science. Some people may not believe in science, but hopefully you do, because science is very important. In this particular case, we're going to be talking about quantum physics. As I'd mentioned in a previous video, there was a very famous experiment called the double slit experiment, where basically this little cannon was shooting these particles through these two slits, and they're hitting the back wall, and they noticed a difference, and they were confused actually at first, and very amazed, I think, by what they saw here. They when they were recording the experiment, but not actually watching it live, they noticed that the particles were making all kinds of crazy random patterns on the back wall. Couldn't figure out how the hell that was happening. So after being confused and freaking out for a while, they finally decided, well, let's sneak a little camera in there and let's watch live and see exactly what's going on. Okay, fair enough. What happened was when they started watching it live, these particles started behaving the way they expected them to, just making two lines on the back wall, just going through directly through the two slits. So, the only inescapable conclusion from this particular experiment was that human consciousness is creating reality, and you're not even aware of it. You talk about particles, you talk about they're behaving the way that you expect them to behave because you're observing. Okay, if you're not observing, you're just going all crazy random. There's waves, all kinds of chaos. So, knowing this, being a scientifically proven thing, by the way, and this is something that you can look up online on Google, watch it, read about it yourself. This isn't like the Weekly World News, okay? um, so knowing this is where my two tips come into play. All right, we've got number one, intuition. Okay, with intuition, sometimes you just have a natural feeling inside. You know you can do something and it's going to work. There's really no question in your mind because that your intuition is guiding you to do it. Okay, so that's tip number one. Always, 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 always listen to your intuition. Um, if your intuition, by the way, is telling you not to do something, maybe you should stop and rethink it. Until you decide you've got a good way to do it or a better way to do it. Okay, so number two is confidence. Okay, which can come from the intuition because intuition, when you have an inner knowing, can already give you confidence. But when that's missing, I think sometimes knowledge itself can just give you confidence. When you know that what you're doing is going to work, and you know why, and you program it into your mind if you need to, right? Um, and that's what's going to. There's no spell that's going to work. There's no magic that's going to work if you don't have confidence in it. If you don't believe it's going to work, that energy is just going to fizzle and fall dead. I mean, your spell is not happening without confidence. Confidence helps you in everything in your life, actually. One thing that always jumps into mind for me, because I'm a huge basketball fan, And I'm going to give you a very old, outdated reference, but it's one of my favorites. If you ever had the chance to see Michael Jordan step out on the basketball court, one thing I always observed about him was his absolute confidence. He would step out there, know exactly what he was going to do, and not a doubt in his mind. He would just step out there purely confident. He knew he was going to juke the guy. He knew he was going to hit the game-winning shot, and boom, it just happened. If he went out there and doubted, got nervous, got jittery, he missed the shot more than likely, right? So confidence is number one, number one, number one, and intuition is always, always, always your friend. And you never want to ignore your intuition. By the way, you always want to listen to it because when you listen to it, you develop it. You're telling it, yes, I want to listen to my intuition, and you're opening the door for more and deeper intuitions to come your way. Whereas if you just ignore it, eventually, you'll just kind of block it and you'll be a dummy because you're never going to have any intuition. And it's not just women who have intuition, by the way. Guys have it too. You can call it your gut, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's basically intuition. All right? So those are my two very powerful tips for today. I'm James Otten. I'll be back next week with some more really, really good occult stuff for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. The subscribe button is your friend, and it's really my friend. All right, and you all have a great day. Get out there, practice what you learned, and blessed be.